Dear student, it appears to be difficult to remember list of characteristic features. Sometimes it appears to be difficult to remember list of characteristic features. But it is very easy if you follow the technique that I am introducing. This technique helps you to preserve the list of features in your mind forever. Student, each and every character depends on important terms. Characters built on significant terms. Characters comprises of important terms. These important significant terms are known as character building terms. Hi, I am Kiran. In this session, I am exploring the technique which is based on character building terms. With the help of this technique, I am explaining the list of characteristic features of sexual reproduction. Let us trigger the magic. Dear student, here in the main feature of sexual reproduction, the character building terms are two parents. Two parents are the character building terms. Only by using these two terms we can easily reveal the first main feature of sexual reproduction. Let us reveal the first main feature of sexual reproduction by using these two character building terms. That is, in sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. It's very important. These two terms, two parents, these two terms are very important because these are acting as character building terms. Only by remembering these two terms we can easily state the first main feature of sexual reproduction. So it reads like this: in sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. Two parents are involved in producing offsprings. Here, two parents is very important. Because of involvement of two parents, sexual reproduction is also known as biparental. Because of involvement of two parents, sexual reproduction is known as biparental. Means here two parents, male and female, are involved. Parents of opposite sex are involved, male and female. So because of involvement of two parents, offsprings are produced. The result of involvement of two parents is offsprings. So because of involvement of two parents, offsprings are produced. What are these offsprings? Offsprings are the products of reproductive process. These are the product of reproductive process, or these are young ones. These are young creations of living organisms. So this is all about the first feature of sexual reproduction. I would like to conclude again the feature of sexual reproduction. It's very simple. In sexual reproduction, two parents are involved in producing offsprings. It's all about the first main feature of sexual reproduction. Then, in second most feature of sexual reproduction, the character building terms are fusion of two gametes. Character building terms are fusion of two gametes. These character building terms help you to state the second most feature of sexual reproduction. What it actually states. The second most feature is offsprings. Offsprings are produced by fusion of two gametes. Offsprings are produced by fusion of two gametes. Offsprings are produced by fusion of two gametes from each parent. So here, dear student, fusion of two gametes, these terms you have to remember, and it is very easy for you to explain the second most feature of sexual reproduction. Here the gametes means offsprings are produced by these gametes. What are the gametes? So the gametes are sex cells. These are the sex cells, and having one set of chromosomes. These are having one set of chromosomes. These consisting of one set of chromosomes. So finally we can state the second most feature of sexual reproduction is offsprings are produced by fusion of two gametes from each parent. Here again you must have to remember character building terms like fusion of two gametes. This is all about second most feature of sexual reproduction. Dear student, genetically dissimilar are the character building terms which represents third most characteristic feature of sexual reproduction. It states that offsprings are genetically dissimilar. It states that offsprings are genetically dissimilar to parents. So here the offsprings are genetically dissimilar to parents. So what happens here actually in this case? The offsprings which are produced in sexual reproduction are non-identical. Dissimilar in the sense these are non-identical. Why the offsprings are dissimilar, because in sexual reproduction, when gametes fuses, a genetic recombination takes place. One phenomena takes place that is known as genetic recombination. Because of this phenomena, because of genetic recombination, the offsprings are dissimilar. Genetic recombination causes differences. It actually causes differences. It causes differences. Genetic recombination causes differences, and hence offsprings are genetically dissimilar. Why the offsprings are genetically dissimilar? Because of only one reason. When the gametes fuses, genetic recombination causes differences, and hence offsprings are genetically dissimilar. This is how we can state the third feature of sexual reproduction, that is, offsprings are genetically dissimilar to parents. Dear student, in fourth characteristic feature of sexual reproduction, higher organisms are the character building terms. Remember, higher organisms are the character building terms. Let us state how these character building terms helps us to state fourth characteristic feature of sexual reproduction. It's very simple. Sexual reproduction, it mostly occurs in higher organisms. Remember, it mostly occurs in higher organisms. Very simple. It mostly occurs in higher organism. See here again, these terms dominates in building fourth feature of characteristic feature of sexual reproduction. It mostly occurs in higher organisms, but also some of the lower organisms exhibit sexual mode of reproduction. But it mostly occurs in higher organisms is the simple characteristic feature of sexual reproduction. Dear student, mitotic and meiotic divisions, both of these mitotic and meiotic divisions, these terms are the character building terms of fifth feature of sexual reproduction. Here, sexual reproduction involves both mitotic and meiotic divisions. Remember, it's very important. Both of these divisions, mitotic and meiotic divisions, are exhibited by sexual reproduction. Here, meiosis, if we consider meiosis, it occurs during gametes formation. Remember, it occurs during gametes formation, And whereas mitosis occurs after fertilization of gametes. After fertilization, remember, with respect to these phenomena, those are gametes formation and after fertilization, both of these divisions occur. But we can simply state the fifth most characteristic feature of sexual reproduction in this way. It involves both mitotic and meiotic divisions. Let us see sixth important feature of sexual reproduction, which is based on slower and complex character building terms. Sixth feature is based on these character building terms. Those are slower and complex. Let us see. A rate of sexual reproduction, that is, rate of sexual reproduction, that is, rate of reproduction is slower and also complex one. So here rate of reproduction is slower and complex. Here, because phenomena like fusion of gametes, formation of gametes takes longer period, that is, fusion of gametes and formation of gametes takes longer period, that is why the rate of reproduction is slower and it is complex one. It is slower when compared with asexual reproduction. This is how we can state the sixth most important characteristic feature of sexual reproduction. Variation. Variation is another character building term which decides seventh characteristic feature of sexual reproduction. That is, variation occurs. Variation occurs in sexual reproduction. It's a very simple one. Why the variation occurs? Because offsprings are derived from different parents. Offsprings are derived from different parents, both genetically as well as physically. That is why the variation occurs in sexual reproduction. This is seventh important feature of sexual reproduction. Variation occurs. Dear student, evolution is the character building term which is related with the last characteristic feature of sexual reproduction, that is eighth one. Sexual reproduction contributes to evolution. How it contributes to evolution? Very simple. It helps in the process of evolution as it does not produce copy of the parent. Here in sexual reproduction, copy of the parents are not at all produced, and hence it helps in the process of evolution. That is all of about the last eighth most characteristic feature of sexual reproduction. Dear student, this is how the character building terms are helpful for us to state all the features of sexual reproduction. With the help of all these character building terms, we can easily remember 8 features of sexual reproduction. At a glance, let us see. The first one is the character building term is two parents. That is, the character is very simple. We can easily state the first character by using these terms like character building terms. Sexual reproduction involves two parents. That is, offsprings are produced by two parents. Then fusion of gametes. Offsprings are produced by fusion of gametes. The offsprings which are produced during sexual reproduction are genetically dissimilar. Sexual reproduction mostly takes place in higher organisms. Some lower organisms also exhibit sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves both mitotic and meiotic divisions. Then sexual reproduction is slower and complex because the phenomena like gamete formation and fusion of gametes takes place. These are the longer period phenomena. That is why the sexual reproduction is slower and complex when comparing with asexual reproduction. Here, variation occurs in sexual reproduction because the offsprings are derived from different parents. That is why variation occurs. Evolution, it contributes to evolution because here, in case of sexual reproduction, copy of the parents are not at all produced. That is why it contributes to evolution. This is how only by remembering all these character building terms we can easily enlist, we can easily enumerate the features of sexual reproduction. Thank you.